There is a shape you have walked over thousands of times without ever questioning it. It sits on nearly every street, on every continent, in cities that share almost nothing else in common, different languages, different laws, different climates, and yet, for well over a century, engineers everywhere have quietly agreed on one rule: the cover has to be round. Not because of tradition, because breaking that rule can get someone killed. Most people assume manhole covers are round simply because the holes beneath them are round, and that seems obvious enough to end the conversation. But that assumption skips the more interesting question. Holes can be cut into almost any shape: square, hexagonal, rectangular. Cities have used all of them. So the real mystery isn't why the cover matches the hole. It's why, out of every shape available, engineers kept converging on the circle. The answer involves geometry, a very specific kind of accident, and a problem that has nothing to do with how the cover looks, and everything to do with how it behaves. Before there were manholes, there were coal holes. In the 19th century, many buildings were heated with coal delivered straight from the street, dropped through a small hatch into a chute leading to the basement. Those hatches came in whatever shape suited the building: square, rectangular, even hexagonal patterns embedded in the sidewalk. Some of these older coal hole covers can still be spotted in cities like New York and London today, relics of a very different underground world. As cities expanded their sewer, water, and gas networks underground, engineers needed larger access points, holes big enough for a worker to physically climb down and inspect the pipes. These became known as manholes, and unlike coal chutes, they came with a serious new problem. The covers sealing them were now heavy, cast iron, often over 100 kilograms, sitting above a vertical drop into a sewer or utility tunnel. A coal hole cover falling in was an inconvenience. A manhole cover falling in was a hazard, both to the worker below and to anyone standing above. As networks grew, so did the pressure to standardize a shape that eliminated that risk entirely. Engineers largely settled on the circle, and once you understand the reasoning, it is hard to imagine any other choice surviving. Picture a square manhole cover sitting on a square opening. It fits perfectly when aligned straight, but tilt it and turn it diagonally, and something happens. The diagonal of a square is longer than its sides. That means there is an angle at which the cover becomes narrower than the opening it's supposed to seal, and it can slip straight through, dropping onto whoever happens to be underneath. A circle doesn't have that vulnerability. No matter how you rotate it, its width stays exactly the same in every direction. Engineers call this a shape of constant width. A circular cover, tilted any way you like, is always wider than the hole it sits on, because the hole and the cover share the same diameter from every angle. It simply cannot fall through, by rotation or by accident. That single geometric fact is the primary reason the shape became standard. Not decoration, not tradition, pure, fail-safe design. But the circle earns its place for other reasons too. Weight is distributed evenly around a curved edge, with no sharp corners where cracks tend to start under the pressure of passing traffic. It's also far easier to cast a precise circle in iron than to cast crisp 90-degree corners without weak points. And practically speaking, a 200-pound iron disc doesn't need to be carried. It can simply be tipped onto its edge and rolled, something no square slab of iron will ever do gracefully. Here's where it gets genuinely surprising. The circle is not actually the only shape that can't fall through its own hole. There's a strange family of curved shapes called rouleau polygons, the simplest being the rouleau triangle, built from 3 arcs instead of straight edges, that also maintain a constant width in every direction. Mathematically, they would work as manhole covers too. They cannot slip through their opening no matter how they're rotated. So why did the world choose circles over these curious 3-sided shapes? Practicality 1. A rouleau triangle is significantly harder and more expensive to manufacture with precision, and it can't roll smoothly or seat evenly the way a true circle can. The math allows for alternatives, but engineering, cost, and simple usability all pointed toward the same answer. It's a rare case where the correct solution and the practical solution happen to be the same shape for almost, but not quite, the same reasons. This geometry became so well known in engineering circles that it eventually left the sewer system entirely and ended up in job interviews. Beginning in the 1990s, Microsoft became known for asking candidates a simple-sounding brain teaser: why are manhole covers round? It wasn't really about manhole covers at all. Interviewers wanted to watch how someone reasoned through an unfamiliar problem out loud, whether they could work from the fall-through hazard to the constant width explanation on the spot. The question spread to other companies throughout the tech industry, and for a while became something of a hiring cliche, eventually giving way to coding tests and system design interviews. But its popularity says something important. Even people trained to solve complex technical problems had never actually stopped to ask why this everyday object looks the way it does, until someone made them. So the cover isn't round because the hole happens to be round. The hole is round because the shape solves a real danger. A circle cannot rotate its way into falling through its own opening the way a square or a triangle eventually can. Add in even weight distribution, cheaper and more precise manufacturing, and a shape that can be rolled instead of lifted, and you get a design so efficient that cities on opposite sides of the planet arrived at it independently. It isn't tradition holding this shape in place after more than a century. It's the fact that nothing has ever outperformed it. It's strange to think that something as unglamorous as a sewer lid encodes a genuine safety principle, refined through decades of accidents, redesigns, and quiet engineering judgment. The next time you step over one, you're not just crossing a slab of iron, you're crossing a small, solved problem sitting in plain sight. If you enjoy discovering the hidden stories behind everyday things, subscribe to Ordinary Secrets.